Yes. All right. Welcome, everybody, to Talk AI. Today, we're going to be talking about, everything GTM AI. We've got the expert of experts. Craig is joining us today from Scaled. Craig, thanks for joining. How the heck are you?
I'm doing great, but I do have to correct. It's Scale Venture Partners.
I like that. I like it. Scale Venture Partners.
Well,
Yes, I'm not with Scale. That's a different
they're
group.
a big deal. No, Scale is a big deal. Like, I'm friends with some of your other partners, like Rory O'Driscoll.
Oh, yeah.
Like, these guys are like founding like venture firm in the entire technology space. Like there is no place better to put up a tent and be associated with the group. So it's a big deal.
Yeah, and we first ran into Craig way back when at Topo. He was doing his thing there. You went into.
I'm gonna cut you off. Dude. So for those who are watching live, like, Craig is a legend. Like, for real. Like, he built Topo. He is like one of the founders of kind of modern go-to-market. So if you don't look him up, look at his LinkedIn, do a little bit of Google searching on this guy. Like, he is like the godfather of this space in many ways. So, like, it's a big deal. I'm honored that we're like having this conversation. No, but like, I'm not being pedantic. Like, it's Craig, you formed a lot of how people think about go-to-market today. Like,
I really appreciate that. If you guys don't mind a story that how important it was that Dave gave me that intro. So I went to a RevFest, which is in Brooklyn, and it's all RevOps folks. It's one of the best events there is. And I was, second speaker, and Jen Igartua it's her company, and she's doing the thing. And she says, and guys, I have a legend that you guys all know. It was like similar, like, just made me feel good, like Dave's. It's Craig Rosenberg, and 4 people clapped. I'm like, okay, this is the new generation. I got to get back out there immediately that everyone knows. It was maybe 200 people there, 4 people clapped. So anyway, I appreciate it, guys. It's great to be here. I love, cool. I love talking game, and you guys have been in the game as long as I have, so this will be fun.
Well, I mean, Gabe, like you're running this show, but Craig and I could just go. Like, we can just go. Yeah, look, you tell us where to go.
Yeah, look, we wanted to start big picture, Craig. You've obviously been in the space a long time, as we just alluded to. So much going on. I want your just kind of bird's eye view. Give me kind of the 100,000-foot view of state of the state. What is going on in GTM?
Well,
and before you go, I got to frame this. Like, Craig is in the formation of modern GTM, and we're in the middle of a complete disruption, I think.
Yeah.
So
totally.
I guess you have a view that I would say, I don't know that I know anyone who would have your point of view. So, like, this, I'm framing this because I want people who are watching live right now, and I think we'll probably have this recorded later, to understand, like, this is actually a pretty meaningful answer. So I am, like, super interested to say, like, what do you think's happening, and where's it going to go?
So, Dave, you have to stop complimenting me so much. I'm feeling a lot of pressure here, you guys.
This better be good, bro. This better be good.
Guy he's talking about. No. So there is, there's a little bit of it's a little confusing. I'm still working on sort of how we're talking about this, because I do think we have the times, as Dave said, we are in, like, this is the greatest time to be alive and go to market, and it's crazy right now. And guys, I can't tell you enough, it's fun.
Yeah.
Because, but here's the thing. So we've got massive disruption on internally how we go to market, with one of the more challenging buying environments for who we sell to.
Oh.
These things are happening at the same time. And so how we tackle this disruption is really interesting, because there is still, everyone's like, I'm like, go-to-market AI will make you better and more efficient, but the strategy and understanding who do you sell to and what you're going to do to that could not be, with them, like what you're going to say, how you're going to, that could not be more important, because it's significantly harder than the first. Like, if we went with revolutions, we had the CRM, and then we had that incredible, you guys were part of that incredible SalesTech Well, it sort of went MarTech into SalesTech revolution.
That's right. Yep.
InsideSales.com was like they sort of helped lead us out of the MarTech
Right.
revolution into SalesTech. So that was a run of the century. And people bought stuff and it was good. People knew how to buy. They learned. I think MarTech helped people learn how to buy. You guys remember sales organizations were like, this sounds great. Then they had to learn how to buy.
That's right.
Yeah. No. But towards 16 through 20, we had a nice run and people knew how to buy. But now, so everyone's is going to change and transform, build and buy into their go-to-market organization at a time when figuring out how you're going to market and sell into an extraordinarily challenging market is happening at the same time. Think about that for a minute. Talk about worlds colliding. You have
so it's a super interesting point because like there's the whole SaaS, the we'll call it the old SaaS industry, like the Salesforce.coms and the Zendesk and the HubSpot. They're being disrupted, right? Like so, and they're pivoting to try and like adapt to the new world. But their pricing model, this is actually, I love what you're saying because I hadn't thought about it until you said it. But this cross section of buying and go to market they're both changing. And this idea, like you look at the average public company in the SaaS space, they're down 30% roughly, anywhere between 30 and 60%.
Yep.
And then there's all of these new startups saying, hey, we have a new go-to-market. So give us some context. Like, what do you think on both sides of this? Actually, I literally have not thought about it the way you just framed it.
Yeah. Actually, one thing you could think about here, and then I'll go into I'll make it just a little smaller for a minute. Like if you look at Gabe's LinkedIn posts, so he's got AI, but then you see these things that he says that are really important, like changes in how we want to buy. He's basically yelling into his megaphone saying, no, you have to tell me what you cost. No, I do not want to go through and be discovered and qualified before I get a demo. I want it now, right? Mm-hmm. And those cries to the market are part of what the buyer's saying, no, guys, you thought you had it right. Don't build for this. And Gabe is, I watch Gabe all the time. And like, if you watch, like he'll do an AI post that's like also provocative. Yeah. And pricing is one of his favorite platforms, but also he's saying, look, I'm trying to buy this software and here's what I'm going through. And it's terrible experience. Yeah. And so we have this thing, and I'll just say this too, just a couple more things on the buying side. So one is, I think there's been so much disruption. If you think about this on the buyer side. So one is, we have all this new AI and budgets have been released for this, but a buddy, Ted Purcell, he's a CRO. He has this thing, which is like the number one thing is that we think buyers know how to buy. So we're asking them stuff, but what if they don't anymore? Oh, and that, particularly on the enterprise is a true statement. And then if you guys add there's economic uncertainty right now, you throw that into the mix. What a crazy time to have to go get deals done. And then on the other side, right, we're like trying to figure out how we can do things, today, and we could talk about this. Today, it's about efficiency. Tomorrow, it's about bigger, better, stronger. But you can't do that successfully unless you understand the other side. And that's a really complicated.
He's blowing my mind on that, Dave.
I know, I'm a little bit like
I've been shouting. He's right. I shout that I hate the buying experience, but for some reason I've never put it in words like people don't know how to buy in this new world.
So how let's go let's go to the juggler. How do they buy then? Like what's not working from the old world, and what are you seeing? At least maybe this is the way to think about it. What's not working, and what are people trying, and what are you seeing that is kind of clicking?
Well, I think we do see and then by the way, just to add one more thing to the buying environment, then I'll go. I promise I'll answer your question.
No, dude,
doesn't matter. Yeah, take us there.
Spell it out, bro. Like
thousands of solutions entering the market every month, and all of you guys, I know you because you guys are out there trying to do this. The circles, they all connect. It's like, even if it's not AI, go-to-market AI, there's horizontal platforms. There's other this thing is like, imagine, you guys think of it as imagine selling. What about imagine buying? So here's what we've seen. We have like the high flyers in like so far where the sucking sound has been hellacious have been primarily PLG experiences.
Yeah. Yeah.
And easily consumable. So, you know, the gammas, the cursors, the lovables, these things are, you know, consumer-esque buying experiences that that are transformative, right? To how in many cases an individual does work. That I mean, that's one where you see it. And like, look, I see it on the, you know, because we see a lot of companies. It's like CMOs ask me all the time, like, where should I join? I said, well, if you can find one of those where they're making money despite themselves, then, you know,
that's the place.
Yeah. But here's what I see on when you're selling things more complex, I think one of the things that you have to do is embrace the chaos on the buying side. So like Gabe says, show me the software. But I would say that if that's what the buyer wants, you give it to them. But the most important thing that we can give them is help them sort through everything, regardless if they buy from you or not. Now, that's not a new concept. We've talked about being helpful to the buyers. If you guys have read, you know, Brett Adamson just came out with a new book. If you read it, there's some relevance here to like how we connect things, which is, you know, I've seen on the enterprise side, the ability to get stakeholders in a room that you've never had before in this crazy buying environment. Still, if you're willing to not go in there and demo, if you're willing to help them sort through what's happening out there today, that is a very powerful way to go to market right now on the AI side, because it's really it's if you're selling more complex software, the most important thing you could do for the buyers is help them make it less complex. And that, you know, I don't think that's new. I think adding value to buyers is important, but I do think we automatically gravitate towards, you know, how do I get this thing in? So if you're not bite-sized consumable, which, you know, a lot of people are, you know, we were just talking about Clay. You know, we can go download Clay right now. And then, but a lot of us sell complex enterprise software. So that in and of itself, in my opinion, is the most difficult today. But there are things that I've seen work. Like one is, you know, you focus on, you have to create content and narrative that allows people to understand the difference between all of their options. And you have to embrace the elephant in the room. You have to, you can't say you shouldn't build. You have to say you should build. But here's where you'll stop if you're selling something. Here's what your limitations might be. So look, if your limitations are, if your specs are here, then build it. I'll walk out of the room and be fine. Call me when you're ready, right? So that's one thing that's worth. But the big ones are more tactical. Like the one is micro segmentation. Using AI to do that has been, in my opinion, one of the greatest breakthroughs, because it wasn't a breakthrough. It's old school. Like Gabe got on my show and he's like, ABM's dead. I hate ABM. And I'm like, bro, that's because you're defining it wrong. We can get into that. Because today, the companies that are selling the most in today's world are using AI to figure out who and when to go reach out to people. That is important, because you cannot Bruce Willis your way into sales. Two guns. Remember the old days? He always had two guns, and he was doing this, and he was shooting 100 people. You just can't do it.
You're not going to do that. So who's doing that right? Like from what you're. By the way, I just mostly want to shut up because like this is really good. So who's doing that right? Like if it were appropriate, I'd stop and take notes, but I'm going to just watch this later. So
you mean like what companies are doing it right?
Yeah,
I have like Can I give you this example? They're not big and famous, but I have a portfolio company that it's a company called Flatfile, and the thing that I've noticed in the startups that work and the young companies that work, actually in the bigger companies that work, it's when the CEO and the founder like embrace go to market. Like so, Scott Albro has this saying, which is the go to market founder. So Dave's a go-to-market founder, right? But he's been that for 20, 30 years. Well, this is the new thing, right? We got all these tech guys, and they got to come in, and they have to take the same
their IT hat off for a little bit and be like,
but they can
I
take
care about go-to-market.
Yes, but they could take their product-centric point of view and take the way they take product and go into go-to-market. That is so interesting. And it's a very powerful concept. And David is like my perfect example, because he went in and said, I kept hearing all these assumptions, and I had all these people, I'd hire these people to say, well, this is how it's supposed to be. And I just said, that can't be true. And so he said, you know what? I blew it all up and then tried to piece it back together. And you know, it's funny because he wouldn't say this, but like the old school adage of strategy, people, process, technology is real. Because what he did was he said, okay, how do my buyers buy? And the way he did that was he went to the team and said, we will only work on between 100 and 400 accounts that we use AI to identify that have homogeneous use cases and similar problems so that we can do this at scale. By the way, they don't have any salespeople. And this is a six-figure product. So he said, and if it goes, if your target list goes over 500, do it again. We're not going. So micro segmentation, guess what? Trying to figure out in micro segment. So like he's done really well in the cannabis industry because they have a lot of regulation that forces them on the back end to have to do a lot of really manual processes that are very painful and potentially costly. Boom. You know, I can go elsewhere, but I'm going to start.
I love it. No, I love it. Because here's the challenge. And look, we've dealt with this, you know, with what we're cooking on. You can do, like, AI is it's so disruptive, you can do anything. And so this temptation is, well, I do everything. And the problem is you don't have depth. Like, so like the cannabis space, like he can go create the appropriate integrations that are in that ecosystem. He can go understand like what are the specific problems this industry has. So he can be best in breed for that. Whereas these horizontal plays, you just need to raise an insane amount of money because you're like, I want to try and boil the ocean.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. Is the horizontal play. Look, I mean, if you could generate enough traction but once a use case happens more than 3 times, then you can act like a vertical play or a very targeted.
So you can micro segment within your ecosystem.
You have to micro segment, even though you can be bigger. And then like the Drift guys, they're talking about how they only sold to product marketers in the Boston area. That was their first play because they knew they would knew everything about them. They knew they were all friends, and they started there, and then they expanded. And that to me is what I've seen this work even with big horizontal plays. As a matter of fact, unless you can throw it out there and everyone comes to you, which is the example.
Like a cursor, cursor, or like a
cursor's like, they don't even, they're probably in there going, it's like a slot machine in there.
I know.
Right. And like, but for the rest of us, and AI is so helpful in micro segmentation. It's incredible. The second part that he does is, so he used AI, and he couldn't believe this, to create these market reports. So he did a couple, right? And he was using, I think, Claude or whatever. And he sent it to the CEO of a couple companies. The guy's like, who wrote this? Like, this is incredible. And he's like, boom. So they lead with that. They create custom demos.
Okay, I gotta pause you because like I want to highlight something you said. So like the first thing you said, you create value, right? It's a little, it's the consultative sell, or it's the a little bit of the challenger approach where it's like, quit trying to just sling your product. Like you just need to go educate your buyers, create value. You just did it again. It's like, quit trying to just sell your product. Like help people know how to buy. Cause right now people don't know how to buy it. This is like, here's a market report. Don't buy from us, but hopefully this is valuable for you.
That's right. And that has been, it's very targeted. It allows them to talk about relevant things. Look, they have plenty of other markets that can go out there, just kind of going one by one. They do custom when they feel like the customer's ready. They do custom demos. Ready for this, you guys? You want the human and the AI? So he brought in a magician to train the team on how to do demos.
What? Okay. All right. Peel that back. Pause. Okay. You got if people get nothing else from this, like whatever is about to ensue.
Demos. Yeah, we got it.
Yes. Okay. I want to hear this.
So like his point was like
This
demos.
guy's a genius. I don't know who he is, David.
You got to meet him. You guys should have him on the show.
I want an intro. Yes.
Yeah, it is incredible. Hold on, I'm just calling up something while we talk here, you guys. But he basically said, look, demos suck. They have no storyline. They're just someone coming on and just spilling out. I think I've seen Gabe write about this before too. It's like they just spill everything out. He's like, no, like a magician, like they build it up. They understand the crowd. They engage the crowd as they do this, and they build up this trick, and then they do a aha. And like, so I'm just giving you the high level. There's more details.
Like there's a big reveal. Yeah.
And he's like, because we know our markets and we segment, we generally can anticipate what the aha will be. He has someone who's not an SE, who's a trained speaker / actor who does all the demos. They built it by being trained by the magician. That I know.
This is so good.
Yeah, the experience.
I don't know if people are picking this up. Like they need to they got to parse this.
This
but
isn't the AI thing. He's selling AI. This guy is it's just his, right?
Yes.
And so he's like, so those are examples of some of the tactics. But let me tell you a couple of the things that he says that I think are really important. So, and I'm seeing this more from CMOs. He did hire, everyone's like, no, I'm hiring a content person. But he said, look, here's the thing. In an AI first organization, what you're looking for is tastemakers. Because the final yard, right? Or the final touch before it hits a customer has to be a tastemaker.
Yeah.
That is the people, because, you know, as Gabe's talking about, like on my show, look, you are going to have agents do a lot of work for you. We want that. But like, what does that mean about the person that has the agents working for them or the agents doing all the, they have to have taste. And that taste has to be relevant. It's the most brilliant thing he's ever said. And so he's like, look, he's like, you know, I had
this so good.
This
is so good.
I had the content marketers come in. He's like, I think I interviewed 35 and they all come in with their book and they're showing me all this. And he's like, no, I'm looking for this person that says, here's how I use AI to get myself, you know, bigger, better, and stronger. And here's how good I'm able to create it by being me. And that last person got the job. That is that is a tastemaker. Okay. So that's one thing that I think, you know, the magician, the you know, bringing in tastemakers. The third one is, now I think he calls them, you know, hackers. He's like, you need a hacker. He's like, because you know, you have to keep them abreast of the business. So that's the whole go-to-market engineering thing is like, look, guys, you and I were just all of us were just talking about before you came on the show. You could create something and 6 hours later, it's different. The world's different, right? So you need someone who cares about that. Also someone who knows, like a hacker is a good term because you can get something up and running in a day. Okay. The fourth thing he says is eventually we will all buy, because right now there is some equal, right? There is some equalness between buying and building. He's like, I'm just waiting for someone to be able to deliver what I'm doing better than what I'm doing, or even
what I can do. Yes.
Because I know that they're going to learn from other customers and be able to, he's like, I actually don't want to own it. I just own it today because I've disrupted everything.
Because no one,
So when everyone asks me about it, look, right now it's like a 30. It's like, in our latest data, it's like 33% build, 33% buy from new vendors, 30% buy from incumbents. That won't change this year, but that's you actually, in your guys' role, you want people to build first because that become literate in AI. But if you take David's prediction, who's like a builder and a developer at heart, he's like, no, I want to buy because they are going to be better at. Once they're better at it, then you do.
You have all the learnings. You have these
pay for it. You need someone who's learning from all these different things and creating a better product. So that's his sort of fourth thing. So that's a really. He is really disruptive. You guys should have him on the show. The guy is incredible.
We'll have him on for sure.
Yeah, so when you talk about folks, there's just like, I do think you have to reimagine and put everything back on the table. And when I tell people this, they act like it's some crazy thing or some consulting thing, and it's not. It's actually fun, because you look at you work backwards from an outcome, then you look at strategy, people, process. So I'll give you another one. Dan Gottlieb, he's a Gartner analyst, used to be at Topo, right? You guys probably talked to him.
I know Dan.
He has this thing. I said, well, what's working in AI? And I'm probably not even allowed to release this stuff. He's going to get in trouble, or I will. And he's like, here, it's really simple. He's like, the companies that say we're about to go full AI, but before we do that, we're going to spend 3 to 4 months just understanding how we work.
Yep. No, because no, it's like, it's so obvious, because AI will accelerate. If your system is bad, if you don't know how you work, AI is amazing at accelerating whatever you're doing. I mean, I got to just pile on, because I'm loving this. Actually, I'm going to shut up. You just keep going. Like,
go ahead, man. What do you got in your head?
Yeah. So the biggest challenge we're running into is people want AI. They want to use AI to do the stuff that people don't do well. So like, we've had a bunch of people say, hey, we want to use your AI SDR to just cold call and cold email, just cold list. And I'm just like, people suck at that. Like, if you're trying to get a human to do it, they're not going to do it. Like, they don't like to do it, and it's bad. So now you think AI is going to be the solution to that. And it's not. Like, it's actually worse. And so what you're saying, don't try and use AI to do the thing that doesn't work for humans. Like, it's not going to work for AI either.
That's exactly right. Actually, that's the perfect example. I remember, that if you can't do it, the AI can't do it.
Yeah,
and so you got to figure it out first. That's why I like the inbound AI use case is a real one, because there's a lot of mundane activity there. There's a lot of operational. We would hire a 23-year-old kid to sift through the lead and see if it matched to something in Salesforce. That's ripe for AI. Outbound,
that's perfect, right?
Yeah. But that's, by the way, the other thing about your outbound example is an example of what I said in the start, is people trying to use AI to solve for the changing buying environment. And as those two things come together, we make big mistakes. Yeah. You have to figure out how you're going to attack the market first. And then AI is the most powerful. Okay, so we've got to flip here. Then AI is the most powerful thing we've ever seen in our lives. But you gotta know, you gotta have a theory. You can pivot, guys. I get it. I've been in the game. But like, if you have have indicators on how you want to go to market, and you can look at how you work and deliver against that today, AI is the force multiplier we've never seen before.
It's unbelievable. When you have, it's so good. So I'll give you an example. And this isn't necessarily go to market, but one of the use cases that is just, it's fish in a barrel. So if you're watching, like, we've almost never seen this fail. It's inbound support. Like, it's just like inbound support stuff, especially when it's already been offshored or nearshored. So it's like an organization, we've already made the decision, we don't want this in-house. And there's no strategic value. Let's just take that and let's put AI to it. It's so easy.
It's extraordinary.
I know.
It's extraordinary. I just think, though, that's a use case that makes sense. And I think if we can help people understand why that made sense, instead of AI everything when you don't know, that's where we're going to get in trouble. That's where we're getting those ROI numbers that people don't love. That's why we have the naysayers are picking up all these things. It's because, look, the example I love inbound support use cases for AI. So I mean, it's like, of course, right? I know. And but that's why it's a use case that makes sense for a number of reasons. And but trying to make the robots aren't better than the humans yet. They're bigger, faster, and stronger, and they're enablers. And like and God, it's great, but man, you gotta figure out what you're gonna do first. So
I love it. So Dan's right. Like, I love that print. Like, go spend
I know.
quarter and just figure your stuff out, and then think about how AI can help it. I love it. That's so good. Okay,
we could go forever. Dave, you got one more, and then we got to wrap. We got one more question for this guy, and then we got to let it.
So look, the problem is, I don't care what I want to know. Like, if you're giving advice to people out there watching this, like, what's the one thing you're like, start here, go do this? And
So
whatever you say, just be warned. I'm going to do a LinkedIn post. I'm going to promote the crap out of this. So it better be good.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you guys are sort of, driving with me, because I believe the first thing we have to do, and this is a quote from Jordan Crawford, which is, the best thing you can do is get people to talk to the machines. And in my opinion, that's the first thing we have to do. So like at Scale, what we did was every 2 weeks we did a hackathon and just build something. You know why? Yeah. Because guys, AI is so extraordinary. We just need you to understand how the machines work. Eventually, that's like David said, we're going to build these. But in the meantime, make your, like Maria Pergolino was working with me and she's doing all this go-to-market AI. She just became the CMO of SPS. You know what the first thing she did? She goes, oh, I'm flying the team to Miami. I'm like, marketing kickoff. She's like, no, hackathon. We're going 2 days down there and everyone's going to go into groups and go build stuff. Because so when people ask me that, the first thing we do is we become versant in the machines and go build some stuff. Because there's some really light use cases that you can go do right now in a horizontal platform. Yeah. The second thing is the focus, and then what they will see from that is productivity changes. They won't be able to hit the cap. Though you need to get some purchased agents to really accelerate that, but that's okay. Like, let's just start there and embrace productivity, embrace that sort of the lift from productivity. It's funny, everyone's like, there's no ROI. I'm like, well, I'm in the VC business. We all want efficiency, so I don't understand what you're talking about. And then once you've done sort of solve for productivity, which a lot of people have, then we start to take complex use cases on. When you follow that pattern, you're going to be way more successful because you understand the machines, you're living the life here, you understand what is possible and what should be possible, and you start to really understand it from an AI first perspective. And then you take on really more complex, more valuable, more ROI type use cases from there. That's how you do it.
It's absolutely genius. Basically, start small, build it, and then expand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, unfortunately,
Craig, the legend Rosenberg. Like you guys saw it here. It just happened.
And he's just lathering it on here, Craig.
I know.
Feeling this?
No, but it's good. We do this again next Friday. I'm
he's going into the weekend.
But it's real. Like I'm being real. Like this is like 100% consistent with what we're seeing, the problems we're seeing, the research we're seeing. But it's pragmatic.
But I mean, Craig, Dave and I are building this stuff like on the daily, and we're trying to do these podcasts for what you just said. Like we're actually literally like neck deep in it. And we still are like, we got to jump on with Craig because we know nothing about this, man. We got
So I will tell you, Gabe says, I think I want you to join. And he's like, and I'm like, cool. Like, why? And I'm like, I'm in. He's like, because I think you're going to learn a lot from Craig. I'm like, oh yeah, you're totally right. Like, is that not true? Did you not say that?
I totally.
I know I'm lathering it on, but it's a true statement.
All right. Well, he's got to get back to his day job. Craig, thanks for joining, man. Dave, thanks for joining.
Thanks for doing this. Thanks for doing this.
Have a good one, everybody. Adios.
Thanks, guys.